Welcome to the AlcoholFree Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Jenny Lee Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi, and welcome to this bonus episode of the Alcohol-Free Life podcast. I just really wanted to jump on and do a piece around the beginning of December. I just wanted to do this because, well, two reasons really. One is because I'm going to be hosting a free webinar on Wednesday, the 10th of December. So I wanted to tell you all about that. It's Wednesday, the 10th at 7:30. It's called Bossing a Sober Christmas. So once you save the date, go to thesoberclub.com, click on events and sign up, register to be part of that webinar. It's free. I am going to ask you for a little donation if you're willing to make one for my Just Giving charity page, but it is a free webinar. Everyone is welcome. I just really want everyone to be able to boss a sober Christmas. Now, if you've already been sober for ages, then it will still hopefully be beneficial for you, because we're going to talk about the whole idea of actually being calm throughout this period, which is, I don't know about you, but I'm getting that sense already. It's the beginning of December, and there's this sense of everything being frenzied, a little bit overwhelming. Already, my diary looks just crazy, and I know that so many people feel the same way. It's really difficult to fit everything in. It can feel totally overwhelming. You might have financial pressures. You might be feeling pressure around visiting relatives, family, all of these things that just add up to a sense of overwhelm around, as December kicks in. So I thought I would just do this short bonus episode just to sort of set the tone a little bit for a calm, a steady, and obviously alcohol-free December. So we'll go back to what it feels like at the beginning, if you like. Let me just share my story first, because most of you know that December is a very important month for me. I have literally helped thousands of people get free from the alcohol trap. I gave a TEDx talk, Sobriety Rocks, Who Knew? That's what kickstarted the Sober Club. I work as a coach. I train coaches. But it was not always that way, I can assure you. If you'd have been around me at the beginning of December 2017, I think you'd have been very surprised. If you know me now anyway, you'd have been quite shocked, I think, probably at how I don't know, deflated is probably the best word for how I was at the time. On the surface, I was fine. I was working every day, BBC Radio 2. I was doing all my natural living stuff. I mean, actually hilarious now I think about it. But anyways, I was doing all my organic products and services, working with brands, helping them get their message out to a wider audience. I was also doing some EFT therapeutic coaching. And so on the surface, all good. But I remember very clearly, it was the very beginning of December 2017 that I looked in the mirror. I had to write a piece for a magazine about aging. And obviously what they wanted from me was a whole load of wonderful positivity and all the natural organic products I use and how marvelous everything was. But I actually looked in the mirror and I remember thinking, wow, I am really unhappy with who I am. And I don't just mean here a facetious kind of, oh, I don't look as pretty as I'd like to. It went way deeper than that. There was this awful sense of, I'm scared of getting older. I don't like what I see. I don't like the fact that I'm going to get ill. I looked really bloated and grey, and just everything seemed like it was getting worse. It was going downhill. I was very fearful of what illness might come onto me. Everything was wrapped in fear. And I remember thinking, what can I do? Maybe I should go do another boot camp or go and do a juice detox. Maybe I should do a fitness challenge, and all of these sort of ideas, all these well-being trend kind of ideas, which of course are fine, by the way. But then a little voice kind of said, well, you could try quitting alcohol. But then the very next voice said, well, how would I do that? And as many of you know from my story that I've shared before, I was waking up at 3 a.m. pretty much every day, trying to make that deal with God. Oh, today I won't drink. But by 6 p.m. the next day, the sun was over the yard arm and the wine witch had convinced me it was a good idea. So I was stuck. I was literally caught in the alcohol trap and I had no idea where to turn, no idea who to ask for help, no idea what to do. I knew that I wasn't going to be going to rehab or rocking up to a GP, so that wasn't an option. But I knew deep down something had to change. And then as many of you know, I was handed Claire Pooley's book by my radio producer to read over Christmas, The Sober Diaries. And it's interesting now I look back that I waited till after Christmas before I read that book, because somewhere deep down, I think I knew this was going to be it. So I waited until after Christmas and drank copiously over Christmas, as I always did. I remember feeling quite miserable. And then just after Christmas, literally, I think it was 29th or 30th, I started reading Claire's book, and it really honestly was as if the light had come on. Here was someone just like me, busy, a mum, got tons of work to do, got things going on in their life, fully functioning, but alcohol is really, really not serving them. Drinking way too much, needs to stop. So I quit, and I can't say it was easy for me. It was raw at the beginning, very raw, very emotional, really tricky. I managed to forget everything I knew about health and well-being, which is interesting. I'm now quite grateful because it means I can support people who are going through this. But at the time, it really was terrible. But or rather, at the beginning, it was terrible. Over time, everything changed, and the light came on. Literally, the light came on for me, and I was finally able to see that life without alcohol is better. It was a transformation for me that was, well, it was subtle. I don't know how many other people would have really noticed because they didn't know I was drinking too much. But actually, it was profound. I literally came back to who I really was. I was able to be confident, authentic, comfortable in my own skin, and actually thrilled to be getting older, thrilled about aging. I mean, what's the alternative, right? I now know, by the way, that quitting alcohol is the best anti-aging hack ever. So I have done a few Christmases alcohol free. And really, I share that story just to say to you, if you are if any of that resonates with you, literally my only regret is not doing this sooner. So this is what I want for you. I want you to have a calm, festive season, a calm December. I want you to feel grounded. I want you to have the December you want to have and the Christmas you want to have. And, we don't all want the same thing. There is this sense that December has to be like a runaway train and everyone has to jump on board and go along with it all. But it's not the case. We can actually align to what feels right for us. Whether you've been alcohol free for absolutely ages, years maybe, or whether it's your first month of sobriety or whether you've just decided to quit, by the way, well done. It's a fantastic time to decide to quit. You still need to prep ahead. I really believe that. I think if you're going to have the December you want and the Christmas you want, put a little bit of prep in. It's worth it. So our webinar that we're doing on Wednesday, the 10th of December, is called Bossing a Sober Christmas, because I don't want you to have to just get through it, literally that awful phrase of, oh, I'll get through it. I want you to actually feel like it's your best Christmas ever. And that really doesn't matter what it is for you. For some people, they hole up and spend Christmas alone, which, is probably fantastic. What matters is how you want to spend Christmas. But whichever way you're going to spend it, the December, the run up to Christmas, can feel very stressful because other people's energy will rub off on you. So you need to know exactly where you want to be so that you can ground yourself and put your prep in for you. So I think it's about setting an intention, deciding what it is you want for December, for Christmas, and then ask yourself a few things. So first of all, have a think about why being calm might matter to you. The reality is December's loaded, isn't it, with, well, that social pressure, well, what do you mean you're not coming to the party? Expectations. I mean, I've had this for years, other people's expectations around what's going to be happening, exciting stuff, gifts, all of that. It can be really, really stressful. That awful rushing around, the fact that you can no longer park the car anywhere. You can't actually go shopping even if you want to. All those old emotions that tend to come back at Christmas time. That's a really big one, having to deal with all the thoughts that come in sort of every Christmas. Grief is another one. If you've lost someone in December or around Christmas time, which I did, I lost my mum a few years ago, and it makes, every Christmas there's that added sadness around having lost someone. And I know that will be the case for so many people. And then there's just literally the tiredness, literally knackered. Some people have had very little time off across the year. And Christmas is the time they kind of finally stop. That's why so many people get sick, because their body kind of goes, oh, well, thank God for that. You're giving me a break. I think I'll be ill now. And they spend the whole of Christmas ill. And then, of course, alcohol features across this period as the answer to everything, the answer to the stress relief, the way that you can fit in and bond with, colleagues and people in the workplace, and the way you can feel close to your family. And it shows up as the only way to be able to celebrate, and an obligation. It shows up as a sense of, well, I have an obligation to drink alcohol because that's what everyone else is doing. And we absolutely need to turn the tables on this. We need to reframe it. By now, if you've ever listened to this podcast before, you do not need to drink to fit in. You do not need to drink to belong. It cannot possibly matter what you're putting in your mouth as to how you're getting on with the person next to you who is drinking. It cannot possibly make any difference. What you put in your mouth is of no business to anyone else. You do not need to drink to be festive. It's nothing to do with the drink. And you absolutely don't need a drink to get through December. Try to make December how you want it to be. Let it work for you, not the other way around. Just remember this piece, though. It's all the associations with alcohol that we hang on to. It's not the alcohol itself. Think about that, the way that you have this sense that you're going to a party or whatever, you're going to be with your boss or colleagues or whatever, and you've got this sense, oh God, they're going to hand me a drink. I'm going to have to have that drink. Just see that drink in isolation. Imagine if it was in a nasty little grubby paper cup, and you were standing outside, by the rubbish bins, being offered that drink of alcohol by someone else who was just outside, feeling isolated. Would the alcohol have the same allure? I mean, of course it wouldn't. You wouldn't be interested in it at all when it's literally stripped down as just the alcohol in a crappy paper cup. You're not interested. It's not the alcohol. It's the associations it brings you, at least by this stage for most people. It's not actually the taste of the drink. You think it is, but actually when you've stopped drinking and then you cop a taste of alcohol by accident, oh my God, you wonder what on earth you were doing all those years. Tastes like actual petrol. But anyways, the point is, it's the associations. It's the fact that the fire is burning, or the bar is busy, or the music is playing, or people seem friendly, or it's nothing to do with the actual drink. It's just the associations. It doesn't matter what's in your glass. That my mantra is keep the ritual, change the ingredients. I genuinely do believe if you're going to go out, if you're going to network or be at a party or be with family and friends and they're drinking alcohol, it's really great to also be drinking something. Have a grown-up drink in a nice glass. I don't believe a cup of tea cuts it in that situation, because I think the unconscious mind just starts to say, well, this is a bit rubbish. Everyone else is celebrating and everyone else is all grown up and I've got my crappy orange juice. So do have a nice glass. Do have a wine glass. Really annoys me they have to be called wine glasses. What's that about? But do have a nice glass with something lovely in it, something fabulously grown up and alcohol free, not something, full of sugar. So you can make December work for you. That's the point. Would you like to become an accredited sober coach? Have you quit drinking and found yourself looking for a new purpose? Thousands of people are searching for help to quit and live their best life without the booze. Our Sober Coach training gives you the tools, the confidence, and the community to support others. No experience needed, except knowing what it feels like to have drunk more than you wanted to. We start with 2 transformational in-person days. Then you join our coaches family with ongoing support and webinars to help you use your skills in ways that suit you. If you're already a coach or a therapist, this could be an in-demand extra string to your bow, or a whole new career opportunity as a Sober Club accredited coach. For more info, visit thesoberclub.com and click on the Become a Sober Coach menu item. So I'm just going to answer a couple of questions that came up with one-to-one clients recently, or one was from a sober club member. And it's that classic one to start with. Isn't it harder in December? Surely you'll agree, Jamie, it's actually harder to be alcohol free in December. Well, I would say it will be harder if you go in unprepared because, yes, as we said before, alcohol's everywhere. It's the thing that links you together, the social glue. It's the how you fit in. It's all of those things. But if you set your intentions and your boundaries, if you prepare, if you know in advance which events you're going to and which you're not, and by the way, it's okay to say no. No is a complete sentence. But if you know you're going somewhere, prep ahead, ring the venue, find out what alcohol-free drinks they've got, so that when you arrive, rather than floundering, oh well, actually, I'm kind of not drinking at the moment, just go straight in with, I'd love a drink, thank you. I'll have a Peroni Zero. I'll have a alcohol-free Fresnet, whatever. I'll have a alcohol-free beer or whatever it is. Go straight in with what you do want. If the venue or the party or the house that you're going to is not going to have great alcohol-free drinks, take your own. I mean, literally take your own stash and take enough so that other people can steal it, because people who drink tend to love alcohol-free drinks. So prepare ahead. Prepare for when the cravings do come in. Tell yourself, how am I going to address this? Prepare what you're going to say to other people as well, because that's a big one, particularly if you're a bit of a people pleaser and you're going to end up feeling bad about not drinking because it will upset someone else. Absolutely crazy. So prep your answers in advance. We're going to go over all this in depth, by the way, if you want to come to our webinar on the 10th. And then the other question, it's a classic one. What do I say to people when they ask why I'm not drinking? Now, again, this is an easy one, really. You choose. You can fib if you want to. You can say you're on antibiotics because you've had dental work, or, being pregnant works for some people, or driving. If you want to fib, just fib. But it's also really simple to just simply say, I'm not drinking at the moment. I feel so much less anxious. I mean, no one can argue with that. Or you can say, I really want to feel great tomorrow. I'm just choosing to focus on my well-being right now. And then the important thing is change the subject. You don't owe anyone an explanation, and definitely not more than about 4 words. So just move on. Really, it's honestly none of their business. I wouldn't get into debates until you're much, much, much further down the line. Another frequently asked question is, what happens if I do slip up? Now, this is a difficult one because I don't, on the one hand, I want to say, well, it's just a moment, isn't it? It's not a life sentence. It's just a moment. When we're losing weight, when we're on a diet, those of us who've been on diets, God, I've been on more than I can shake a stick at. No, absolutely never again. But anyways, those of us who know what it's like to try and go on a diet, I mean, we all slip up on diets all the goddamn time, but we don't give in completely. If it's worth doing, we carry on. And with quitting alcohol, most of us have been around the block a few times. Only if the light bulb is coming on and this is the right time for you. And I'm not saying that by way of giving you license to just relapse and trip up again, because the truth of it is, every time you do this, it's harder. It's a little bit like, you're in sinking sand and you've been able to get out. You've actually been able to get out of the sinking sand. If you choose to go back in, you're going to go back in deeper, and it's going to be that bit harder to get out, if you even can. So don't take this risk with intention. Start your intention to stay on this track. You literally make it non-negotiable. But you know what? If you trip up, because it's a question people want to know the answer to, then what do? You ask yourself what happened. You find out what happened. It's really important that you know what was the thought process or the actions that led to it. And then you get back on the horse and you reset. You don't need to feel ashamed. You don't need to feel guilt. Just get back on the horse. But do it properly with intention. And then the last question: how do I still have fun? Oh yeah, that classic perception that we can't have fun without alcohol. I'm sure I used to believe that. I'm sure I did. I used to think, well, what are you talking about? How can I possibly go to a party and be the person I am without alcohol? It's such nonsense. It's such BS that we've all been, sold this lie. It's the experiences that matter. It's the friendships, it's the environment. They're the things that matter, not the alcohol. It can't possibly be about what is going in your mouth. So plan things that are lovely for you. Plan the experiences that you enjoy, and that might be holding up, watching the holiday or whatever it is. It might be going on a winter walk. It might be, meeting with friends, do some crafts, go bowling, have a games night, create some lovely I don't know, healthy snacks and have some mocktails. Take care of yourself, do lovely things. But remember, it's about lovely little things. It's about rituals. It can't possibly be about the toxic liquid that's going in your mouth. Remember that the fun comes from the connection. It's always the connection that leads us to feel good. It's never, drinking. I mean, if you think about people who sit and drink alone, they'll tell you it's not fun. There's no fun to be had there because it never was about the drink. It's we drink to drown our sorrows, as it were. So focus on having fun without the alcohol. I had one more question I wanted to cover. How do I handle triggers? Because there are so many in December. Yeah, there really are. But you've got to remember that triggers, cravings, they're just thoughts. So bring yourself back to the why. Why am I doing this? Why do I want to feel better? What is it that I already know about alcohol and the fact that it's not serving me? And throw that tape forward, play the tape forward, as they always say, and ask yourself, how do I want to wake up tomorrow? If you're going out to a party, you're going to get triggered, have an exit plan, book a taxi early because drunk people are really boring, and just plan what else it is you're going to do and just move on through it all. A good tip is to remember the HALT, HALT. So you ask yourself, is it actually that it's not that I'm craving alcohol at all, it's that I'm hungry, in which case, go and eat, clearly. Am I angry? Go punch a cushion or go for a run. Am I lonely? Sometimes you can be lonely even if you're with other people. And that's why I'd say join us in the Sober Club, because the connection is amazing. Or am I tired? And that's so often the case too. I used to think that, having a glass of wine revitalized me, certainly did not. So if you want loads more of this in-depth coaching stuff really around December, then join our webinar on Wednesday, the 10th. We're going to go into lots more detail. We've got some fabulous NLP techniques that can really help you deal with stress, anxiety, cope with difficult relationships. It doesn't matter whether you've been sober for, a couple of days or 10 years. Hopefully you'll get something from our event. And there probably will be a replay, but actually you'll get much more from this if you do the workshop in person, because we'll also have a grounding visualization. We'll do that as well. So sign up if you can. It is free. We'd love it if you're willing to make a little donation to my Just Giving page, my Strictly Come Hospice fundraising challenge. So I'll put the link to that there, but it's free to attend. Please attend if you can. There's limited spaces, so register now. It's Wednesday, 10th of December at 7:30. Just before I finish this little bonus episode, I just wanted to read you this little thing that I found about how different personality types tend to navigate the month of December. I think it's when we do our sober coach training, when I work with sober coaches, we do quite a lot around different personality types, because of course the personality type you are will relate to the challenges that you face if you're quitting alcohol. So it's something we cover in a reasonable amount of depth on our sober coach training. But I just did a little bit of research and I found a little bit of info around just some of the basics around personality types and how they navigate December. And I thought it was quite fun because you might recognize yourself here. So perhaps you are a winner. You love winning, you love achieving. And for these people, they really love a challenge over Christmas or a plan. And if you are a real winner, a high achiever, you like to take action, then sobriety in December could be a project for you. You're gonna win this month, and I would absolutely urge you to make sure you add in January as well. So win the 2 months. And the really great thing about this personality type is that you will have absolute commitment to your own goal and strength, and you'll keep the momentum going. But the danger is you've got to be don't be too hard on yourself if actually you find it a little bit tricky sometimes. Recognize that you might need support, even though you are a winner and you are an action taker. Also, with action takers, they tend to jump into the solutions very fast, so they're not always quite so good at doing the introspective kind of stuff. But they thrive with the checklists and the routines and the accountability. So it's all good. You'll boss it for sure. To quote the title of my webinar, you'll absolutely boss your sober Christmas. But you might have to just watch out for burnout, because rest is really key as well. If you're going to do this and you're going to do it calmly and with that sense of ease rather than being frantic. And then the next kind of person is the person who likes things to be ordered, the sort of data-driven person, the kind of person that likes to feel safe and secure, maybe takes a little bit of time over everything. They tend to like the why behind everything. So if you're that kind of person, really do that logic around the alcohol piece. Have a listen to my podcast with Dr. Anya Topiwala on the truth about alcohol, because it would be really good for you if you're that kind of person. If you're new to being sober curious, then do find out what alcohol is going to do to the body and the mind. Don't buy into all that nonsense you see in the press about, oh, these are great hangover cures. How about just not having a hangover in the first place? Those kind of people, once they see the evidence, they get it. They're really solid. I think William Porter would describe himself like this. He said to me on a podcast once that was exactly how he was. He had to go and do really deep dive into the logic and the facts before he made his decision. So the danger again, it might be there over researching rather than taking action. You're gonna have to take this bit from me because it's just the best thing you'll ever do. So do it. And then we get people like me who are the more creative types who just kind of want to have fun, really. And they tend to want December and Christmas to be magical and playful and imaginative and fun. And those kind of people will thrive with the making some mocktails and making sure you put a little umbrella in the mocktail and creating memories, and having lovely experiences. And it is possible to bring joy to this process. It really is. But for those people, it's really important to keep that creativity flowing, because boredom will be what tends to make you think, oh, I may as well just have a drink. And then there's the many of my sober club members, the heart-centered people, the ones who really value community, belonging, connection, shared experiences. And for them, December's all about having that real genuine presence and that wonderful connection. And they're motivated by connections with others and relationships with others. So they just have to watch out for the people pleasing, trying to make it okay for everyone else, or the over committing. So whatever type you are, don't forget we've got an event on Monday, the 8th of December at Club Soda. And then, as I say, our webinar, which I know it's not quite the same meeting online, but you know what? Still pretty good. So go to thesoberclub.com, click on events. And really, to conclude, whatever your personality type, whatever's going on for you, you can set your intention, you can put your plans in place and have a calm, alcohol-free December. It just needs to be the one that you want, not the one someone else wants. So if you feel like you're being herded onto that railroad December train and you don't want to, just literally step off it and just decide, okay, this is what I want. I want a calm, confident, alcohol-free December. I want to focus on what's important to me, and that might be different to what's important to someone else. And, that's okay. So please do join us on Wednesday, the 10th, because we're going to go deep dive into some tools, into some strategies for navigating stress around Christmas, really. As I say, this will be great for you if you are newly sober or if you're sober curious, but also if you've been sober for years, because we're going to look at how we bring down anxiety, how we focus on what we want, how we set intentions. We're going to do that, for everyone, really. So I really hope you'll sign up for that. And whatever's going on for you today as we start December, just just breathe. You've absolutely got this. Let's just make December calm and intentional. And I will absolutely be cheering you on. I've got your back. I'm holding that space for you. And as I say on every podcast, if you are at the beginning of your journey and you're doing all this, in your early days, tell someone you're doing it. Reach out and tell someone. Obviously, I'd love it if you join us in the Sober Club. So much support there. But do tell someone. If you want to tell me, it's absolutely fine. Message me. I'm on social media. You can find me easily at Janie Lee Grace, and I'll hold the space for you. I'll absolutely respond if I get your message. And right now, look at the show notes for this, or go to thesoberclub.com/events and register for our free webinar. And the Club Soda event, maybe if you can. And there'll be a regular podcast later on this week. Happy December. Thank you for listening to the Alcohol-Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.